Well, hey everybody. Nice to be with you again in this context. And now that you have taken some time to settle in and open your Bibles and read the text that we preached on Sunday, I want to take a few minutes, as we normally do at this time, to recap the sermon and the main ideas of this text that you just read before you look into your questions together. As we know, this is a challenging text. You know, when the disciples are following Jesus, you know, they've seen him teach with great authority. They've seen him heal the sick. They've seen him cast out demons. They've seen him calm waters on the sea and tell storm clouds to cease. They've seen Jesus do some amazing things. And in this discourse that we've been going through, Jesus does begin to unpack the reality of persecution and suffering and being handed over to courts. And I think in the minds of the disciples, they're starting to think, gosh, I thought, Jesus, you came to bring peace to the world and peace to people and to the land. And these were all the promises that were told. And in our text, I think the disciples are probably confused, and as he starts to unpack persecution and suffering and telling people about the gospel and what that could bring to their lives. And in our text, he just shoots very straight with them and says, even as you're doing that, don't think that I've come to bring peace. I've come to bring a sword. And then he begins to unpack what that sword can look like, particularly in the context of family. That proclaiming the gospel and even becoming a Christian can impact a family in the sense that they can divide a family. And that's really painful. It's extremely painful if you think about the bond a father, for example, has with his son, or a daughter with her mother. Relationships in a family unit are the most precious to us in most situations. And so Jesus picks at this relationship, this bond that a family often shares, and says, you know, in effect, this sword, this gospel sometimes could even set apart a son from his father. And that is and can be the cost of following me. And then in the next section, he says, whoever does not love father and mother more than me is not worthy of me. In other words, your loyalty to me must go beyond your loyalty to your family in some cases, and in every case. Christ is supreme in your loyalty. He's not saying in that statement hate, you know, in the sense of, you know, reject and be angry at. He's just simply saying that it may come to that. It may come to the point where your love for me has to outweigh your love for your family. And as you follow me, it might actually separate you and your family. We see this, for example, sometimes in the Muslim world. For example, a teenage son or daughter comes to Christ and they're cast out of the home. Unless they reject Christ, they can't come back in. It's things like that. And then taking up your cross. The cross is a symbol of death. So you must die every day to your earthly loyalties in the name of following Christ. And you may even lose your life in that, but you have truly found it when you have found Christ. And there is something about when you find Christ, when Christ has saved you and he's yours and you're loyal to him, it's hard to explain that to others. But you know that you're loyal to him first, that he has your life, and it is a cross to bear at times, that it can even affect family relationships. But it is worth it in the end, and it is often the cost of following him. And so now as you dive into the questions, I would encourage you to really press into the reality of sometimes the pain that it can be to have a a son or daughter or a family member just not want to have anything to do with you because of your commitment to Christ. And pray for one another and encourage one another. Continue to keep your loyalty to Jesus at all cost, no matter what, because that is truly where life is and what it's all about. God bless. I pray and hope that you have a great time together.